Captain Kim Hyun-woo stood by the large window at Luna Station, watching 3 alien ships dock with practiced ease. He had done this same job for 5 years now, and these meetings always went the same way. The aliens would ask Earth to join their war, and Earth would politely say no. The meeting room filled with strange sounds and smells as the 3 alien species entered. The Vorthok looked like living crystals that changed colors when they got upset. They were flashing angry red. The Meridians wore special water suits because they lived in oceans, and bubbles kept escaping when they got excited. The Zephyrians looked like giant ants walking on 2 legs, and they made clicking sounds when they talked together. Earth must help us fight, said the lead Vorthok, its voice sounding like someone hitting a wine glass. The Krillian Empire keeps taking over planets. They are getting stronger every day. If you do nothing, they will come for you too. And Ambassador Park Min-ho smiled the way diplomats always smiled. Hyun-woo had seen that exact smile in hundreds of these meetings. Earth appreciates your concern, Park said in his calm voice. But our position has not changed. We offer knowledge, art, and trade. We do not fight wars. The Meridian ambassador made angry bubble noises. You live on a beautiful planet with no enemies. You do not understand what real danger means. The Zephyrian speaker clicked its mouth parts. When the Krillians come, your pretty gardens will burn. Your peaceful people will die. Then you will wish you would listen to us. Park kept smiling. Earth has chosen peace. We've solved all our problems without violence. Hunger, disease, poverty, we fixed everything by working together, not by fighting. On Earth, Dr. Lee Dong-hyuk was having a much quieter day in his research lab in Seoul. He was carefully cleaning dirt off an old piece of metal that had once been part of a sword. The metal was over 1,000 years old, from a time when humans still fought wars against each other. His student helper, Choi Soo-jin, watched him work. It is hard to believe people really use these to hurt each other, she said. We learned about wars in school, but they seem like stories from another world. Dong-hyuk held up the metal piece to the light. Humans used to be very good at fighting, he said. We're probably the best fighters on our planet. That is how we became the only intelligent species left on Earth. But we are so peaceful now, Soo-jin said. Children do not even play fighting games anymore. We build things instead of breaking them. Yes, Dong-hyuk agreed. We learned that building was better than destroying. Now we make art that can be seen from space. We grow food that tastes better than anything our ancestors could imagine. We live in cities that look like paradise. Outside their lab window, they could see the Seoul skyline. Beautiful towers reached toward the clouds, covered in gardens and artistic decorations. Flying vehicles moved silently between the buildings. People walked on bridges that looked like they were made of light itself. Far above Earth, automated machines worked in space, mining asteroids for materials. These machines had been working for centuries, gathering everything Earth needed to build whatever its people wanted. The same technology that made food and houses could make anything at all. But humans only wanted to make beautiful and useful things. The alien ambassadors at Luna Station were getting more frustrated. They'd been trying to convince Earth to join the war for 3 years now. Every species in their part of the galaxy was either fighting the Krillians or had already been conquered by them. Look at your defenses, the Vorthok said, its crystal body now flashing between red and orange. You have 12 ships, and they are science vessels. You have no weapons platforms around your planet, no battle stations, no army. The Krillians will destroy you in one day. Admiral Jang So-young, one of the few humans who still studied military history, sat quietly at the end of the table. She was old enough to remember when Earth still had a real military, before they decided they did not need one anymore. Krillians have 1,000 warships, the Meridian added. They have conquered 47 worlds. They turned peaceful planets into slave colonies. Is that what you want for Earth? Park's smile never changed. We believe that violence creates more violence. The Krillians fight because they believe fighting is the answer. We choose a different path. The meeting ended the same way it always did. The aliens left angry and frustrated. The humans went back to their peaceful lives. Up in space, The beautiful orbital stations kept turning slowly around Earth. It's looking like jewelry made of light and metal, but very far away. Beyond where human telescopes could see clearly, something was watching Earth through different eyes. Krillian scouts had been studying the human home system for months. They saw the pretty orbital stations and thought they looked like easy targets. They saw the 12 science ships and laughed at how weak they seemed. They saw a planet full of peaceful people who had forgotten how to fight. War Commander Thecamar looked at the reports about Earth and made his decision. These humans needed to learn what happened to species that refused to join the Krillian Empire. A small lesson would be enough, just a few hundred dead. Humans to show them who was really in charge of this part of space. He never wondered why such a successful species had chosen to stop fighting. He never asked why Earth was so quiet. He was about to find out. The alarm woke Director Yoon Ji-hae from her sleep at 3 a.m. Europa time. She stumbled to the control room of the research station, still wearing her pajamas. The night shift workers looked scared as they pointed at their screens. Unknown. Ships approaching fast, reported Technician Ominki. They are not responding to our signals. Ji-hae felt her stomach drop. Europa Research Station was home to 300 people, scientists, engineers, and their families. They studied alien life forms in the ice oceans beneath Europa's surface. The station had shields, but they were designed to protect against space rocks, not weapons. Send a message to Earth, she ordered. Tell them we need help. The message never reached Earth. 3 Krillian attack ships opened fire without warning. The station's shields lasted exactly 47 seconds. Ji-hae managed to record one final message before the hull cracked open like an egg. This is Europa Station. We are under attack. Tell Earth. Tell them. We tried to stay peaceful. Them. The explosion was visible from Mars. 300 innocent people died in less than 5 minutes. On Earth, Emergency Council Chairman Kong Min-soo received the news while eating breakfast with his grandchildren. The call came on his secure line, the one that never rang unless something terrible had happened. "Sir, we have a situation," said the voice on the phone. "Europa Station is gone. It's all hands lost. We have received a message from something called the Krillian Empire." Kong felt the world spin around him. His granddaughter asked why he looked so pale, but he could not answer. He had never imagined he would have to deal with something like this. 2 hours later, every important person on Earth sat in the Emergency Council chamber. The room had been built for discussions about climate management and resource distribution. Now it was full of people who had to make decisions about war and death. Admiral Jang So-young stood at the front of the room, her old uniform looking strange after years of retirement. "The Krillian message is simple," she said. "Surrender now and join their empire, or they will destroy every human world. We have 72 hours to decide." The council members looked at each other with confused fear. These were people who spent their time building parks and planning art festivals. The closest thing to conflict in their lives was deciding which color to paint the public buildings. "What are our options?" asked Councilmember Lee Hai-Jin. So-young's report was not encouraging. "We have 12 ships, all designed for science. Research. They have light shields and basic tools, but no real weapons. Our orbital stations are beautiful, but they cannot fight. We have no army because we decided we did not need one." In his laboratory, Dr. Lee Dong-hook stared at the old sword fragment with new eyes. His hands shook as he accessed the genetic databases that every human carried in their personal files. The information was all there, hidden but not gone. "Jin," he called to his assistant. "Look at these genetic markers. It's the ones for aggression, for violence, for territorial protection." "They are still there?" Sujin studied the data. "But Professor, humans have been peaceful for over 200 years. These genes are not active anymore." "They are not active because we did not need them," Dong-hyuk said quietly. "But genetic traits do not disappear. They just go to sleep. And sometimes something wakes them up." Across Earth, strange things began to happen. Factories that made art supplies. The managers received unusual requests from the government. Could their machines make different things? They work faster? They make lots of the same thing instead of unique pieces? CEO Nam Wujin stood in his main factory, watching the machines that had made luxury furniture for 50 years. His AI assistant showed him new blueprints on the holographic display. The conversion will take 14 hours, the AI reported. These machines can make the requested items, but it will require stopping all current production. Do it, Nam said. The words felt strange in his mouth. He had never made anything designed to hurt people before, in government buildings around the world. People who had spent their careers managing peace began learning about war. Ancient files were opened. Historical databases that had been used only by students were suddenly being read by world leaders. Dr. Dong Hook found himself appointed to something called the Strategic Defense Committee. He sat in meetings with people he had never met, all of them looking confused and frightened. The psychological profiles are clear, he reported to the committee. Humans still have the genetic capacity for organized violence. The Europa attack has triggered something in our population. People are volunteering for military service even though we do not have a military. They want to fight back. Chairman Kong listened to reports from around the world. Factory owners were calling the government, asking how they could help. Young people were showing up at recruitment centers that did not exist yet. Even children were asking their parents why the bad people had hurt the scientists. What about our allies? Asked Council Member Park Seung-ho. Can the other species help us? Admiral So-young shook her head. The Vorthok Meridians and Zephyrians are already fighting their own war against the Krillians. They cannot spare ships to help us. We are alone. But Earth was not helpless. Hidden in plain sight, the same technology that had created Paradise began to show its other possibilities. Orbital construction platforms that built space habitats could build other things. Mining operations that gathered materials for art could gather materials for very different purposes. With 36 hours left before the Krillian deadline, Earth sent its response. The message was polite and simple. To the Krillian Empire, we decline your offer. Please leave our solar system immediately. Regards, Earth. War Commander Thekmer laughed when he read it. These foolish humans clearly did not understand their situation. He ordered the punishment fleet to depart immediately. He had no idea what he had just awakened. War Commander Thekmer felt very confident as he prepared his punishment fleet. 200 warships was more than enough to destroy one small planet. His soldiers laughed as they loaded their weapons and prepared for an easy victory. These humans will learn what happens when they refuse the Krillian Empire, he told his officers. After we destroy a few of their cities, they will beg to surrender. The Krillians had conquered 47 worlds using the same method. Show up with overwhelming force, destroy something important, and watch the enemy give up in fear. It always worked, but something very strange was happening in the Sol system. The alien observers Vorthok, Meridians, and Zephyrians watched through their long-distance sensors and could not believe what they saw. This is impossible, said the Vorthok ambassador to his home world. 3 days ago, Earth had no military. Factories. Now they are building warships faster than we can count them. What the aliens did not understand was that Earth had always had the ability to build anything they wanted. They just chose to build beautiful things instead of weapons. The same machines that made art sculptures could make missile launchers. The same computers that designed parks could design battle strategies. Admiral Jang So-young stood in what used to be the Seoul Museum of Modern Art. In just 2 days, it had been converted into the War Command Center. Hundreds of people worked at computers, coordinating the biggest industrial change in human history. Status report. She asked Lieutenant Colonel Bae Jun-ho. Stellar Manufacturing has finished their first batch of combat ships, he reported. Park Shipyards is working on new designs that use our construction technology. The AI networks have downloaded every military database from human history. In factories around the world, machines that had made toys and furniture now made very different things. CEO Nam Woo-jin walked through his main production facility. Watching robotic arms assemble components that would have scared him a week ago. How many can we make per day? He asked his production manager. At current speed, about 500 units per day, came the reply, but we can increase speed if needed. The machines do not get tired. The most frightening thing was how quickly humans adapted to the change. Dr. Lee Dong-hyuk found himself working with military historians and combat engineers, people whose jobs had not existed a week ago. Ancient battle tactics were being combined with technology that could build cities in space. The Romans were excellent at logistics, explained Professor Kim Yan-soo, who had been teaching ancient history just days before. They could move armies across continents and keep them supplied. We are applying those same principles, but with machines that can make anything we need. What about strategy? Asked Colonel Han Jite, a man who had been promoted from managing traffic control systems. The Mongols perfected mobile warfare, Kim continued. Fast attacks, multiple directions, overwhelming the enemy before they could respond. Combined with our manufacturing speed, we can build attack fleets faster than they can destroy them. Captain Otaman commanded what used to be a cargo transport ship. In 36 hours, it had been converted into a weapons platform with more firepower than most military vessels in the galaxy. He watched through his sensors as similar conversions happened throughout the solar system. Reported his tactical officer. I am reading massive construction activity around Mars' orbit. It looks like they are building. I cannot identify what they are building. What they were building were automated weapons factories. Machines that could make other machines, which could then make weapons, which could then defend themselves while making more weapons. It was industrial engineering on a scale that no other species had ever attempted. The alien observers grew more worried with each passing hour. The Vorthok had been building their military for thousands of years. Earth had been doing it for less than a week, and they were already producing more ships per day than the Vorthok built per year. How is this possible? The Meridian ambassador asked his strategic advisors. They have something we do not, came the reply. Complete automation and unlimited resources. When you do not need to worry about food, housing, or basic survival, you can focus all your energy on one problem. Meanwhile, the psychological change in humans was just as dramatic as the industrial change. People who had never seen violence in their lives now worked 18-hour shifts building weapons. Teachers became tactical planners. Artists became military engineers. Children drew pictures of spaceships instead of flowers. Dr. Dong-hyuk studied the genetic data and made a disturbing discovery. The aggression markers are not just activating, he reported to the Defense Committee. They are activating in patterns we have not seen for centuries. It is as if the human species has remembered something it had forgotten. What do you mean? Asked Chairman Kong. We did not evolve beyond violence, Dong-hyuk explained. We simply built a society where violence was not necessary. But the capacity was always there, waiting. The Europa attack woke something up in every human being. Long-range sensors detected the approaching Krillian punishment fleet, still 3 days away. Earth's response was to begin mass production of autonomous weapons platforms that existing military doctrines would consider impossible. Factory ships were launched toward the asteroid belt, where they would build mining facilities that could turn entire asteroids into weapons in a matter of hours. Orbital defense grids appeared around every planet and moon in the system. Most disturbing of all was the calm efficiency with which humans approached warfare. There was no anger, no hatred, just the same methodical problem-solving approach they used for everything else. The Krillians had presented a problem. Earth would solve it. The punishment fleet was about to encounter something no military force in galactic history had ever faced. A post-scarcity civilization that had decided to go to war. War Commander Thekmar felt proud as his punishment fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. 200 of the Empire's finest warships spread out in perfect battle formation. He expected to see a few desperate human ships trying to defend their beautiful planet. Instead, his tactical officer screamed in terror. Sir, the entire system is armed. Every moon, every asteroid, every space station has weapons pointing at us. Thekmar stared at his display screen. Where 3 days ago, there had been peaceful mining platforms and art installations. Now, there were thousands of weapon platforms. The pretty orbital rings around Earth had transformed into the largest fortress complex he had ever seen. This "Is impossible," he whispered. "Our intelligence reports showed no military infrastructure." "Sir," his communication officer reported, "we are receiving a message from Earth." The message was simple and polite. "Krillian fleet, you are trespassing in Sol system. Please depart immediately, or defensive measures will be activated." Dekmar laughed nervously. "Defensive measures? We have 200 warships. Begin the attack." The battle lasted exactly 6 hours and 17 minutes. For every Krillian ship, Earth deployed 50 autonomous fighters, small human craft, moved like angry insects, swarming the much larger Krillian vessels. But the most terrifying thing was not the number of ships, it was how they were replaced. When Krillian weapons destroyed a human fighter, 2 more would appear within minutes. Manufacturing platforms throughout the system continued building new weapons even during the battle. Admiral Jang Soyung watched the fight from Mars Command Center, her face showing no emotion. Around her, hundreds of technicians coordinated. The defense with the calm efficiency of people organizing a city festival. "Status report," she requested. Major Hanjit consulted his displays. "Krillian fleet strength down to 38%. Our losses are being replaced faster than they can destroy them. The AI networks are maintaining optimal tactical coordination." What the Krillians discovered was that fighting a post-scarcity civilization was like trying to drain an ocean with a bucket. Earth's factories produced ammunition faster than the enemy could use it. Every destroyed weapon platform was rebuilt before the debris had finished floating away. Dr. Lee Dong-hyuk monitored the battle from his research center, surrounded by historical data and psychological profiles. "We are not fighting like humans used to fight," he observed to his assistant. "What do you mean, Professor?" asked Choi Soo-jin. "Ancient human warfare had emotion, anger, fear, pride. This is different. We are treating the Krillian fleet like a mathematical problem that needs to be solved." He was right. Earth's response to the invasion showed no anger or hatred. It was pure engineering. Identify the threat, calculate the optimal response, implement. With overwhelming efficiency, the same mindset that had built Paradise was now focused on destruction. Captain Lim Sung-ho commanded one of Earth's new battlecruisers, a ship that had been built in 18 hours using technology originally designed to construct space habitats. His crew worked with quiet concentration, following tactical plans calculated by artificial intelligence systems. "The Krillians are retreating," reported his tactical officer. "Active crew protocols are active?" Sung-ho replied calmly.
"We cannot
allow aggressive enemies to escape and attack us again later. This decision would shock the galaxy. Most civilizations fought to defend their territory, then stopped when the enemy retreated. Earth did not stop. Its automated hunter-killer fleets, built during the battle itself, followed the surviving Krillian ships back toward their home territory. The alien observers watched in stunned silence as humanity revealed why their planet had been so quiet for so long. The gentle gardeners were the descendants of the most successful predators their world had ever produced. War Commander Thekmer's flagship was one of only 12 Krillian vessels to escape the Sol system, as Earth's pursuit fleets followed them. Through hyperspace, he sent a desperate message to the Empire's capital. "Emergency transmission to High Command," he broadcast. "The humans are not what we thought. They're not peaceful because they are weak. They are peaceful because they chose to be peaceful." When that choice was taken away, his ship exploded before he could finish the message. Captain Park Jimin, commanding the pursuit fleet, made a note in her log. "Krillian War Commander eliminated. Continuing pursuit to source." Back on Earth, the transformation continued. Children who had been drawing pictures of flowers the week before now drew spaceships and asked their parents when they could join the Space Navy. Factories that had made beautiful sculptures now produced weapons with artistic precision. CEO Nam Woojin stood in his converted factory, watching assembly lines work at incredible speed. "The psychological profiles were correct," he told his AI coordinator. "Humans adapt to warfare the same way we adapted to peace, completely and efficiently." The most disturbing aspect was how easily Earth's population accepted the change. There were no protests, no calls for peace negotiations. The Europa massacre had awakened something that had been sleeping for centuries. Admiral Soy received reports from the pursuit fleets as they reached Krillian territory. They are systematically destroying military installations, reported Captain Otaman. Civilian populations are being warned but not harmed. The Krillian war machine is being dismantled piece by piece. The speed of Earth's victory shocked every species in the galaxy. Civilization that had been dismissed as peaceful gardeners had demonstrated military capabilities that exceeded entire stellar empires. They had gone from zero military production to galactic superpower in less than a week. The other alien species that had been pressuring Earth to join their war now maintained very careful diplomatic distance. They realized that humanity's peaceful. Nature had been a choice, not a weakness, and that choice could be revoked whenever necessary. The Krillian Empire's core worlds had never seen anything like it. Earth's pursuit fleets arrived at their military bases with the same calm efficiency they used for everything else. There was no anger, no revenge, just systematic removal of wheel threats. Krillian Defense Minister Korthavel watched his empire's greatest fortress disappear in a matter of hours. The human ships worked like construction crews, taking apart military installations piece by piece. They left civilian cities completely untouched, but every weapon, every warship, every military factory was destroyed with surgical precision. How long did it take them to build this fleet? He asked his remaining advisors. Our intelligence reports indicate 72 hours from decision to deployment, came the terrified reply. 72 hours? Korthavel could not believe it. We have been building our military for 300 years. But that was exactly the problem. The Krillians had built their empires slowly, conquering one world at a time. Earth had built their response all at once, using technology and resources that made traditional warfare obsolete. On Earth, Admiral Jang So-young stood in the War Command Center as automated factories quietly returned to making art and luxury goods. The transition was seamless, as if building 1,000 warships had been a minor industrial adjustment. Status report from the Krillian operation. She requested. Captain Park Jimin's hologram appeared on the communication screen. All Krillian military installations and 3-star systems have been neutralized. We are broadcasting the standard. Warning to their remaining territories, any future aggression will result in complete sterilization of their worlds. Civilian casualties? So-young asked. Zero Park replied. Our targeting systems were programmed to avoid all non-military targets. The Krillian population has been informed that they are free to rebuild as a peaceful civilization. This approach confused and terrified other galactic civilizations. Most species fought wars to conquer territory or eliminate enemies. Earth fought to solve problems. Once the Krillian military threat was eliminated, humans had no interest in ruling over alien worlds. Dr. Lee. Dong-hyuk finished his final report on the psychological changes in human behavior. Capacity for organized violence never disappeared. He wrote, "It was simply redirected toward creative and constructive purposes. When our civilization was threatened, 4 billion years of evolutionary success did not vanish." His assistant, Choi Soo-jin, helped him file the military technologies in secure archives. "Will we keep these weapons, Professor?" "We'll keep the knowledge," Dong-hyuk replied. "Just as we kept the knowledge of how to make fire, even after we invented better heating systems. Some tools are too important to forget." Around the galaxy, diplomatic messages flooded Earth's communication networks. Species that had ignored humanity for centuries now desperately wanted alliance agreements. The Vorthok Meridians, Zephyrians, who had pressured Earth to join their war, now maintained very careful diplomatic distance. 17 formal requests for military alliance, reported Foreign Minister Kim Hae-won to the Global Council. Chairman Kang Min-zoo considered the requests carefully. Standard response to all of them. Earth prefers peaceful cooperation, but we are no longer unprepared for threats. The message was clear without being threatening. Earth would not seek conflict, but neither would they allow others to mistake their choice of peace for inability to defend themselves. CEO Nam Woo-jin walked through his factory, watching the production lines return to making beautiful furniture and art pieces. The same machines that had produced guided missiles now crafted delicate sculptures. But the conversion protocols remained in the system memory, ready to be activated if needed. Post-scarcity civilizations have advantages, he told his AI coordinator. We can afford to be peaceful because we can also afford to be absolutely ruthless when necessary. In classrooms across Earth, children learned about the Krillian War as another chapter in humanity's long history. Teacher Jung Haiwan explained to her students how their beautiful, peaceful world existed because their ancestors had earned the right to choose peace over war. Will there be more wars, Teacher Jung? Asked student Kim So-hwan. Only if someone else makes the same mistake the Krillians did, Jung replied, pointing to the memorial wall showing pictures of the Europa research station victims. The galaxy now understands that Earth was quiet by choice, not because we were weak. Captain Otaman, now Admiral of Earth's reformed defense fleet, received daily reports from monitoring stations throughout human space. His ships patrolled quietly, their presence a gentle reminder that Earth's peaceful nature came with the backing of overwhelming force. The transformation had been complete and permanent. Earth remained a paradise of art, science, and peaceful cooperation. But now that paradise was protected by the knowledge that its inhabitants could become the most efficient war machine in known space within a matter of days, deep space. Monitoring stations across the galaxy began broadcasting a simple message. Sol system, approach with peaceful intent only. Most species complied immediately. They had seen what happened to those who did not. The few aggressive civilizations that tested Earth's resolve learned quickly why humanity had once conquered their homeworld so completely that they could afford to become gardeners. The lesson was always the same, swift, overwhelming, and final. War Commander Thes Replacement, studying the destroyed remnants of the Krillian military, sent one final report to the scattered survivors of his empire. Do not wake the sleeping giant. Again, the giant had returned to its peaceful dreams, but the galaxy would never forget that it had awakened. Earth's children played in gardens that spanned continents, studied sciences that unlocked the secrets of the universe, and created art that made the stars themselves seem dim by comparison. But they also learned why their world was so quiet and beautiful, because their ancestors had earned the right to choose peace over war. And that choice was protected by the promise that it could be changed whenever necessary. The galaxy was a safer place. Not because Earth had become warriors, but because Earth had proven they were gardeners by choice, not by weakness.